Hey restaurant pros, how long you've been following me? Are you brand new to my teachings, or have you been along for the ride since 2003? Have you seen me speak at any major conferences or shows? Have you attended one of my workshops, seminars, or webinars? Have you been watching my weekly YouTube videos or listening to my Restaurant Prosperity Formula podcast? No matter if you've only just discovered me or you've been in my orbit for a long time, you will learn very quickly that the two most important systems any restaurant must have in place are budgets and recipe costing cards. Now stay with me, and I will not only show you why budgets lay out your restaurant financial plan for success, but I will show you my Google Sheets budget system and tell you how you can get your very own copy of it. I'm David Scott Peters, restaurant expert, coach, and creator of the Restaurant Prosperity Formula, and I've been coaching restaurant owners since 2003, and I'm really glad you're here to learn. Let me show you why your restaurant financial plan is so important and when you need to update it. Hey, before I go into this, do me a favor. If you like tips and tricks like this, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and oh yeah, that bell so you're notified when my next video tip comes out. And for more tips and tricks for running a profitable restaurant, or to listen to restaurant owner success stories, make sure you tune into my podcast, Restaurant Prosperity Formula, found on all the popular podcasting services. Now look, budgeting is really important. Having a financial plan for success, your financial plan for success, is one of the most important things to do because it changes you from being a reactive management team to a proactive management team. It's your plan for success. It's not based off of industry averages. It's based off your needs. Maybe you've got high debt service. Maybe you've got really high rent, and we've got to control your prime cost, total cost of goods sold plus total labor cost, including taxes, benefits, insurance. Maybe we've got to make a complete menu change. Maybe we've got to completely change our kitchen to become more efficient. Maybe we've got to stop spending so much money on advertising or bands and things like that. But you'd never know if you don't create a financial plan for success. Because what success looks like for you is different than somebody else's restaurant. Why? We can't rely on averages. See, your restaurant is not on the same street corners as another restaurant. It's not the same price point, style of service, quality of product, and you don't have the same core values. Your restaurant is different, so you need to create your plan for success based on your business. Now, what I want to do is I'm going to share with you my Budget Builder MVP. Now, this is a Google Sheets solution. It has been programmed to operate like software, but don't get me wrong, it is not software. It is a spreadsheet, but it's really, really powerful, and it makes budgeting very, very simple. Now, I'm going to make this a little bit larger so you can see. Now, here's what Budget Builder MVP does. It allows you to put in your sales. And we're going to start off with putting your sales the same they were last year. And we're going to come in and we're going to go for the 12-month period. Well, where did it all come from? Well, there's this setup section that allows you to enter in the months, whether you're on a 12 or 13 period accounting cycle, you can put it in here. It puts in your chart of accounts, your sales, your cost of goods sold, your labor cost, and whether they're a part of prime cost, the benefits, taxes, insurance, and then your chart of accounts, your general ledger, all the way down based on your business, not some industry standard that doesn't matter to you. Now, I will teach you that you do want to follow a certain chart of accounts or edit yours to break down categories, sales, cost of goods sold, and labor. But from there is no wrong chart of accounts. But know that a quick update over here, there's a button, you can change it to match your business, to match your profit and loss statement. So you're having a common language. It's not something difficult to see. Now in Budget Builder, we put in our sales. Well, we come across, the next thing we do is also put in our sales mix. Now, I'll show you later that you can switch whether you want it as a fixed or a variable number. So if its column is white or the cell is white, that's the input, in this case, percentage. And as we come down, if I show you these salary sections, salaried, notice those cells are white, those are fixed costs. Well, here's the deal. You come in and you put in your sales mix. Now, you can easily copy this across. I'll show you how that functionality works in a second. But we can get this from our point of sale system, from our DSR tracker, spreadsheet. Heck, you can get it from your accounting software. What is my sales mix? Then we would have come down. Why is that important? 85% of $74,000 is $63,000 in food sales. Then we've got our cost of goods sold, our targets. Now we're going to get it from our history. What are we running today? Because we're going to build our 12-month budget template based on the last 12 months. If I operate the same way. So what's my current cost of goods sold for each one of these categories? And it simply takes 28.75% times $63,000 to give me $18,000 in food cost and so on. As I scroll down, I've got my fixed costs for salaried management, and you'll notice that the owner's salary is not in yellow, so it's not a part of prime cost. I'm not dinging my management team because they can't control what I pay myself as an owner. And I've got my percentage of sales for each one of the positions. I can get that from my most recent payroll. I can get it from my average for the last 12 months, my P&Ls. Either way, you've got this data at your fingertips right away, and you can build it. Well, we come down and we look at all of our expenses, fixed expenses, what it was for the year divided by 12 or 13 if you're on a 13-period accounting cycle. And like repairs and maintenance, that as I'm busier, we break more stuff. As we're slower, we break less stuff, meaning we will see it as a percentage of sales, from credit card discount rates to advertising and so on. And you build your template. And you say when you're done, you come all the way to the end of the year and you say, hey, if I operate the same way in this example, I'm only going to make 2.43% on $1.1 million in sales. Well, the truth of the matter is that's $28,000. I don't know about you, but that's horrible. And the National Restaurant Association says a typical restaurant runs a 5 to 8% profit margin, a nickel to 8 cents on the dollar. I don't want that. I don't know about you, but I didn't put my family's future at risk to make a nickel to 8 cents. I could get a job for that and make more. I want you at 15, 20%, depending on where your profit margins want to be, your goals, and your sales. If I'm doing $850,000 a year or lower in sales, I'm probably not going to hit that. I might hit 10, 15. But as soon as I get to $1 million or more, my goal is 15 to 20% without giving up on my core values, without buying shitty product or reducing labor to a point we can't service our guests. But because we have a budget, a plan in place, and we know what systems we want to put in place by when, we can make that proactive change in our business. Now there's another number I want to look at, and I'm going to scroll down here and highlight row 201, and my prime cost for the year is 69.39%. Well, typically, that's not too bad. Typically, the experts say you want a 65% prime cost. Well, I'm going to tell you, if you do $1 million a year or more in sales, I want your prime cost to be 55%. That means on $1 million, if you're running 65 and I want you at 55, that's $100,000 in bottom line profitability on the same sales you're doing right now with no get-rich scheme, no marketing, no gimmicks, hard work. Putting systems in place, holding management accountable to those systems you trained them on, creating your plan for success. So now, why is a budget so important, and why is it important to update your budget? Well, let's look at this. I'm going to go all the way to the top here and just show you some of the functionality of this and how you create your plan. Well, let's look at food costs, line 33, row 33. And we're right now at a 28.75% food costs, which is not terrible in our world. A lot of people are at 34 because they saw that as a national average on TV show, read it in a magazine article, and so on. Well, there are going to be restaurants that run high 30s, high cash contribution, low labor costs, and there's going to be restaurants that have a really low really low food costs because their labor cost is so high because of $15 minimum wage and so on. Well, how do you determine where you should be? A budget. How would I know where you should be? How can a coach, a consultant, an expert, anybody work with you if there's no budget? It's critical because it's your plan for success. Well, if I look at this and I say, hey, I'm going to right click, create a comment. That's what I love about using Google Sheets. Now it's shifted up for a second here, but I'm going to come in here and I'm going to type in, we're going to train our managers on the Restaurant Checkbook Guardian. That's a system I teach to give up ordering without giving up your checkbook, the waste tracker, and that's to prevent dumbass mistakes over and over again. And we're going to put in there a key item tracker to prevent theft. Well, I'm going to teach my managers this. Now, I'm not going to see a result. I've got to give them the opportunity to teach them what the system is, how to use it, how well I want it done, by when. Well, in month 2, I can hold them accountable. So I come in here and I'm going to type in my comment. Again, it's shifted up because I've got it blown up here. as far as expanded to large, I'm going to come here and I'm going to say we're going to hold managers accountable. And I would type out each one of those systems. Well, what that means is I promise people usually a 2 to 3 point drop in food cost. So in this case, I'm going to just go 2.75 to make life easy. That means in the month of February, holding my management team accountable because I'm putting my systems in place. I have training in place. I know when I can hold them accountable, which after they've given them a month to use it, because it's uncomfortable in the beginning. I've got to make it a part of the process. Hold them accountable starts in the second month. So I'm going to simply type in 26% because I'm going to reduce it 2.75%. Now I've got this little functionality in here, copy forward, and I say copy row. Now watch 26, 28. Now it turns 26 all the way across. Now, if you remember, I'm going to take us all the way to that profit and loss. We were only a few points. Well, now we're at $53,000 and almost a 5% profit margin. So now we come back and we go back up to our cost of goods sold and we say, wait a second, based on my labor, I know that I've got to get my labor cost lower. So I'd come back here in my comments. I will edit these comments and I will come in and I say, I need to work on recipe costing cards, new menu by April. Okay, so I'm going to go through the process, decide when I'm going to do my recipe cards, have it done by, create a menu profitability monitor analysis to find my ideal food cost, make changes to menu engineer my business to get my food cost down to 24% and have that on the table by April 1st. So now I go 24% here. In April 1st, I come up to copy forward rows. I allow it to go across. You'll see here, give it a second to go through. It is now across. I come back down to my profit and loss for the year. And all of a sudden I'm at a $69,000 profit margin, 6%. So you can see what changes you're going to put in place, what you're going to do to make the money you deserve. Now we're going to go one step further. I'm just going to pop into labor. You do this for each category where you see a problem. No, by the way, I will tell you that in most cases, you'll notice the sales is 85%. That's my biggest opportunity. In this restaurant, if I was a bar and it was alcohol, then that would be my bigger opportunity. But in this restaurant, if I control my food cost at 85% of my sales, I can have a dramatic impact. You see, if I were to change my wine cost and get it down by half, I'd make hundreds of dollars versus tens of thousands of dollars because 85% of my sales are food. Well, you can see that. It's not just some pipe dream. You can see your financial plan take shape and what systems you want to put in place. Now we come down here and I'm going to go to my labor and look at my kitchen and go, this is way too high at 12.88% because I sit there and say, I add my cooks plus my dishwashers and I come here and go, it's 15.77% of sales. Well, typically I want 10 to 12% back of house. Now there are times where labor is higher. As minimum wage is coming up, we're starting to see that get to maybe 12, 13, 14%, depending on where you're located. And that's why we have to drive our food costs down, our pour costs down. That's where prime cost comes in. Make sure you look at my other videos on my YouTube channel where I talk about prime costs. But the fact of the matter is, I happen to know this is really high. And so let's just say we go through a bunch of coaching. We figure out what systems we're going to put in place from the restaurant payroll guardian, a labor discrepancy finder, a labor tracker, our dollars per labor hour, which is my labor efficiency finder systems. Well, depending on what we're going to put in place without typing them all out, let's say we're going to get our dishwashers down to 2% and we're going to get our cooks down to 10%. We've determined it is possible, changing the menu, by changing prep, by stagger starting cooks, by making mid shifts part of our operation, getting cooks to do prep during slow times, doing dishes when we're slow. And all of a sudden, we take these two line items, I'm going to copy those forward. And now we've created a plan for our food costs. We've created a plan for our labor costs in the kitchen alone. And now I come down here to the bottom and all of a sudden, very quickly, this restaurant is now going to make 10%, $119,000 to the bottom line. And that's without going line by line by line by line and creating your plan for success. Now, let's say we stopped here and said, this is our plan. That which we measure improves. I'm going to come back up to January here, and I'm going to click on actuals and show budgeted and actuals. And so then you come in and you start to type in what your actual sales were. And it starts to fill in. You start to put in what your actual use based on beginning inventory plus purchases minus end gives us use. The use, what actually left the shelves, and you come up with $19,000. And all of a sudden, the system corrects itself. This 28%, oops, I hit the wrong button here. This 28% food cost is not of forecast, but of actuals. So this is what you should have used, and I'm $312 over. And you go line by line by line, seeing where you hit or missed. And then, once you've got that, we hide the empty actuals. We come back in and we recreate our plan. We say, where did we hit? Where did we miss? And maybe now I've got to get more aggressive with my NA/Bev pour cost, my beer cost, my labor cost in the kitchen or front of house. See, on a monthly basis, you're going to measure your financial plan and change your financial plan. No longer do we create a budget to ask for money to open a restaurant and ignore it for a year and laugh when we see it. What was I thinking? That which you measure improves. And I'm going to tell you, you're going to have a challenge hitting your budget. You're going to have a challenge making sure you're on budget all the time. It's going to change for you. So what do you have to do? You have to change your budget, your plan. Because now if it was month 1 and I missed my goals, I can then go across and change 11 months. If I'm 3 months in, right, you get the picture, I've got 9 months to change. Make tiny changes to make the money back up that I deserve. Not just look backwards and go, oh shit, we didn't make the money we were supposed to. That's why a restaurant financial plan, a budget, so important. That's why you need to measure and change your restaurant financial plan on a monthly basis. Now, let me share with you how you can not only get a copy of my Budget Builder MVP Google solution, the one I just showed you, but a video teaching you how to use it as well, because there's lots of controls I didn't go through. You know how you get it? When you purchase and read my book, Restaurant Prosperity Formula, What Successful Restaurateurs Do. You can find it on Amazon, your favorite book retailer, wherever you want to buy it from. I'm going to tell you right now, when you buy my book, it's like $15. Depending on Amazon, it goes up or down. But the fact of the matter is, when you read it and you get to chapter 3, in the summary of those notes that I give you, things to take action, those takeaways that you get, I'm going to give you a link to opt into my website, my member site, where I will give you your own copy of the Budget Builder MVP, a video teaching you how to do it, plus other bonus videos. See, you have the opportunity to get this done on your own. In fact, I will include a link to my book in the description below, right to Amazon. But again, you can get it anywhere you want. But I'll also let you know on a little known secret. It's really not little known, and it's really not a secret. If you become a member in my Restaurant Transformation Intensive group coaching program, we do your budget for you, with you. So if you want to make change, buy the book first, read, learn exactly what you've got to have happen. In chapter 3, go get your budget template, watch the video, create your plan for success. And at any point in time you think you need help or want my help, and join a group of restaurant owners just like you who want to make change in their business, book a discovery call. It's in the link as well. Maybe we can get on a Zoom call, figure out if I'm a right fit for you, and my program can help you reach your financial dreams. If you're tired of not being able to leave your restaurant because no one else knows how to run it, I want to make sure you know it doesn't have to be that way. You can leave your restaurant. It is possible to build a team of people who know how you want the restaurant to run with trained and responsible people in place. You can give yourself time away. What would you do if you had time away from your restaurant? Would you sleep better? Would your relationships improve? Would you feel more relaxed? These are all things you deserve to experience as a business owner. It's why we own our own businesses. If you would like to learn how to own a restaurant that doesn't depend on you to be successful, click the link in the description to watch a free video to learn exactly what you have to do. Also, be sure to subscribe to get my weekly tips and watch these 2 videos to get more information and guidance for running a successful restaurant.